you know what? When people behave like this, it suggests to me that you're not wanting to get to the truth.
Oh, yes, we do. We want to talk to my granddaughter. She tells the chicken wingman what my daddy did, and they're like, oh, my God.
Because I'm going to lead you to the truth.
Please oh, please. Please.
I'm going to lead you to the truth.
Please.
I'm going to lead you to the truth, and how loud you yell or how often you yell doesn't change the facts.
No, it doesn't.
You should hear what comes out of their mouth in the house. Put my daughter around. That she hears this. This is the way they scream with my daughter around?
You know, my dad used to tell me, don't ever miss a good chance to shut up. This would be one of those chances.
Got it.
There are facts here, and you're right. There is evidence here. I'm willing to walk us through this. When I started this show 16 years ago, I said we were going to deal with silent epidemics, and I was going to give a voice to people that didn't have it.
Thank you.
And this child doesn't have it. You three certainly have it. But you've got to be willing to be open-minded. Is it possible you're wrong?
No.
Then there's no point in talking to you.
You know
just
why,
might as well leave.
When my granddaughter says what she says,
it's my daughter, not yours. Bye. Goodbye.
If she was your daughter, you wouldn't have done what you did.
Look, if you are so close-minded that you say there's absolutely no possibility you're wrong, then you might as well leave. No, stop. Stop talking. Stop talking. You didn't see it happen, and if you say there's no chance it didn't, then there's no point in me talking to you. No point in me talking to you.
I don't believe my granddaughter's lying.
What?
I don't believe she's lying.
That isn't what I asked you.
Okay, well, you said...
I asked you, I said, is there a possibility that you're wrong? And you say, absolutely not. Then that means you're completely irrational. There's no point in me talking to you.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
You didn't see it happen, so you don't know whether it did or didn't.
I saw her rear end.
We know what she told
I saw
us.
what she saw, and I heard what she said. She tells strangers this. Complete strangers. Why would a child do that? We don't know.
Do you want to know the answer to that question?
Yes.
If there is one?
Yes, please.
Because you're telling me that you've closed the data window. It's like, you know, where you go to the racetrack and you go to the window and make a bet. You've closed that window. You said, I don't want any more information. I have all the information I need. I've decided what's happened here. I would think you would be praying on your knees every day that you're wrong.
Well, to think about this, yes, that's nauseating. Absolutely. We were in shock at first. In total shock. Yes, 100%.
I think you'd be praying every day that you're wrong.
I'm praying that the baby gets help every day. That's what I'm praying for.
Okay. Well, there's no point in talking to you, so I got nothing to say to you.
But we want you to help her so
No, you
bad.
don't.
Yes,
no,
we
you
do.
don't. What
Yes,
you
we
do is you came here to assassinate his...
No,
Shut
I want her to
up.
get help.
You did not come here to seek the truth. You came here to assassinate his character. You don't want to know whether it happened or not. You came here to assassinate his character. What I want to know is whether it happened or not, and if it did, get your daughter the help that she needs.
He'll never admit this.
I don't need him to admit it.
I'll take a lie detector test for you right now.
I don't need you to do
now.
that. I don't need either one of you to do it, because I think the evidence is very clear as to what happened or not. It's just none of y'all seem to want to hear it.
Okay, I'm ready to listen.
Well, we've spent another whole segment of these people deflecting from the truth because they apparently don't want to hear it. So we'll take a break and come back, and I'll ask them once again if they want to get to the bottom of this, because I know what happened. I've got the facts. I've put together the trail. We'll be right back.
It could possibly
Well, now, wait a minute. That's what you said was your proof. So don't say, well, there's one doctor, there's another. You said that was your proof.
There's other proof there, Dr. Phil. That's not just the only one.
Well, Crystal accuses Anthony of sexually assaulting their 3-year-old daughter on at least 2 separate occasions. She says the second time was on Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas, of 2016. The first time was July 6th of 2016. Now, let me start with you, and I want to ask the two of you to not comment for a minute here. You say you have unequivocal proof.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what the proof is.
Her rectum is partially hanging out of her bottom.
How is that proof that he did something to her?
She said so. She said that he did that.
No, you said proof. Tell me what
Well, how else would your
proof.
rectum fall out?
Oh, there are a number of reasons that
If in
that
fact
could
it was
happen,
either-
according to your pediatrician. This was 6/9 of 17. She said, child sexual abuse suspected, subsequent encounter, other hemorrhoids, vaginitis, will refer to gastroenterology. Now, when we look at the form, the comment about the suspected sexual abuse was what you have written in your hand down here. That wasn't anything that she observed, because this was months after it had taken. There would be no physical sequel to any abuse that had taken place before. This was you writing this down here, that there was sexual abuse. What she's talking about here is that there were hemorrhoids and vaginitis, and you make no allegation of any vaginal violation whatsoever, so that doesn't have anything to do with him. The hemorrhoids, you said that she had been given antibiotics, which caused a yeast infection, which resulted in, you call, an implosion of the rectum from the inside out, which is the alternative explanation for why that would be going on.
One doctor said it could possibly
Well, now,
be
wait a minute. That's what you said was your proof. So don't say, well, there's
No,
one
there's
doctor, there's
another-
another.
there's other
You said
proof.
that was your
There's other-
proof.
there's other
And in
proof.
fact, that's not proof, because that's not what the doctor said.
But there's other proof there, Dr. Phil. That's not just the only one.
It's okay.
No, you could talk about that one. If it's hemorrhoids, why is she saying that he did that to her?
We're talking about proof. And you said the proof was the pediatrician found medical evidence
Well,
that
actually, the
supported
hospital.
that.
It was the hospital. The pediatrician got those after she was seen by the hospital.
This pediatrician, like me, is a mandated reporter. So did this pediatrician report this?
Yes. Yes.
No, the pediatrician did
Not
not.
that-
report it.
not at
the
this- not-
pediatrician
no.
really did not know how to
The
handle
very
it.
first call. The very first
She
call.
did not.
No, the pediatrician has no ambiguity to handle it. If the pediatrician
They did
examines
not.
a child that has been raped, there's
We
no
thought so.
ambiguity about how to handle it.
We thought so. The
They
following
have a
pediatrician-
24-hour mandate to report this.
That's the problem, you thought.
Do not talk. Did the pediatrician report this?
To the DCF? No, they did not. It was already reported. We already had a case going on.
You don't seem to understand. This is a medical license, and if they observe evidence of rape, they have 24 hours to report it. It doesn't matter who else has reported it or hasn't
They did
reported
not
it.
report it because we already had a case going on.
Don't say because. There is no because. There is no alternative explanation. If they observe that this child has been raped, they have 24 hours to report it.
They didn't even look at her. They said that we were not medically equipped to handle the situation. That was what they said.
So
to
you
us.
said this was proof. Now you're saying they weren't competent to handle it.
No, this was the second time. This is not, if you look at the dates, this is not the same time.
Look, this is a report you pointed to
Yes,
that
I
said
understand
was your
that.
proof.
Yes, there's
So
three
don't now
papers.
waffle
There's
and say,
three
well, that's
papers.
not the proof.
There's 3 papers that go with that, Dr. Phil, not just that paper.
You say there are other pages. I have them right here.
Yeah, I'm not doing any of those things that you said I was doing.
It says diaper rash.
It says skin tag, edema.
It says diaper rash and it says skin tag edema. Nowhere does it say rape.
Please help my daughter. That's all I really want from you. Please.
That's exactly what I'm doing. So the truth is, you don't have medical proof.
If that's what you want to call it.
No,
Dr. Phil,
if you
I
have
know.
medical proof, point it out to me. I have your medical records
Is
right
that
here.
She wasn't born with this, and now there's something there. That's the medical proof.
Same person that wrote that was the same person that coached you?
You want to get in this
No, I'm sorry.
conversation.
That's a medical issue.
You don't like the way it's going?
No, I love the way it's going.
Barbara,
Her
you
insurance
want to send somebody to jail over this evidence right here? I'm not saying this is all the evidence you've got, but this is a gross misrepresentation of the facts. Now, come on.
Okay, if you're saying so, look, I'm not talking about
Don't plead
paperwork.
ignorance now. You came
not
out here.
pleading
You
ignorance.
came out here just standing on these medical records to prove that this man raped your granddaughter with an object, and you said we've got medical proof. Here it is. It says diaper rash, skin tag edema, and hemorrhoids.
Sexual abuse.
It does not say sexual abuse.
It doesn't say that?
It does not say sexual abuse.
That's what I thought I read. Sexual abuse, subsequent sexual abuse? What does that mean?
When you
Her
come into a
insurance
doctor and say,
company.
I'm telling you this child has been sexually abused, and they say, okay, assuming that the parent is a reliable historian, in a differential diagnostic process, we will list as a consideration that possibility.
No other doctor than the emergency room has looked at her. because of this
Then you
issue.
don't have medical proof.
Emergency room doctor did, and that was the emergency room's doctor's report.
The emergency room doctor is the one that said it's the skin tag, it could be diaper rash, it could be a lot of things.
Right.
And we had to get the report.
You don't send somebody to prison over somebody saying, it could be a lot of things.
Same person that wrote that was the same person that coached you?
And orally, doctor.
Anthony, your daughter.
Whoever told you to write that was
Our daughter tells the truth.
You want to get in this
No, I'm sorry.
conversation.
That's a medical issue. I'm not a medical
You really
doctor.
want to get in this
Absolutely
conversation.
not.
You don't like the way it's going.
No, I love the way it's going. Susan's going to come out today. Susan's coming out today.
Why is my daughter saying these things?
What?
Why is my daughter saying these
Well,
things?
we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. How do you prove she's oral? You can't.
We'll get that. We're going to look at that in a minute. But first, I want to determine whether you have medical proof or whether you don't.
That's what we have right now because no other doctor has looked at her, Dr. Phil. We've trying to get her to a pediatric gynecologist.
I'm not
forever.
saying you aren't frustrated by not having medical proof. I'm just saying that you don't have medical proof.
We don't have enough. We really don't.
That's right.
Okay.
Because
so
it's not there. I'm sorry.
I haven't told you whether I think your daughter has been molested or not. I'm just trying to stick with the facts. You came out with a bold statement. I have irrefutable medical proof that this happened. On examination, you actually don't.
I know what my daughter told me, and I know what they're saying.
That's different than whether you have medical proof or not.
She happens to be very literal, my daughter. That's,
She happens to be very wrong.
well, she could be wrong. I agree.
She could be wrong. She does not have medical proof. You do not have something here that says, to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, this child has been raped with an object. Isn't even almost here. Can we acknowledge that?
I'll acknowledge it.
Crystal wants to know why her daughter... Well, we've run out of time today, but we have so much more to cover. Now, the mystery remains unsolved, and the question still remains, did Anthony sexually assault his 3-year-old daughter? Now, Anthony's ex-girlfriend, Crystal, and her mother, Barbara, say they are 100% certain Anthony is guilty, and they want him thrown in prison. They say they are ready to go on the run to ensure 3-year-old Marie's safety. Take a look at what's coming up tomorrow.
She claims her ex molested their daughter.
Absolutely not.
You are a sick individual.
You're coaching her.
We don't coach her. We don't say bad things about you.
You don't say bad things about me. You're doing it on national television.
My granddaughter has suffered at the hands of this animal.
You're telling me that 2 weeks after this man raped your child, you let him have visitation with her?
I didn't know what to do, Dr. Phil. I was unsure how truthful it was.
But now you're sure?
Yeah.